Hey, it's Justin again. Right, so now we get into the exciting part of Excel. We get into what makes Excel what it is. It's no longer going to be a static, manually populated sheet. It's going to be a sheet in which things start happening. Inputs, formulas, and outputs. So if we go back to our original sample sheet, which remains here on our desktop unmodified, we're going to open that. And that was what we were working on. Now, I'm going to show you what happens firstly along the bottom. We've got a sheet here called sheet 1, which is our very first iteration. It's our very first sample. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on sheet 1. I'm going to go rename, and I'm going to call it sample, because that was where it all began, with this here. Now, I want a fresh new sheet within this particular document, because your spreadsheet can have one name, one identity, but it can have multiple tabs and multiple pages. Imagine a book. The book's called an encyclopedia of Excel, but every page constitutes a new sheet, a new workspace. So I can click plus and I can add a sheet. I can, if I wanted to create another list, but I didn't want to do all this work again, I can right click and I can go move or copy. I click move to end, or I can put it anywhere. I can put it before the sheet 1, I can put it before the sample sheet. Let's say move to end, create copy, and there is sample 2. Sample 1, sample 2, sheet 1. So I'm going to delete sample 2 because we don't need it. I right click on it and I go delete. It double checks, it just makes sure that you really want to get rid of it, and you go delete. So I've got, again, and I'm just reiterating, within this worksheet, I've got multiple tabs. I've got the original one, I've got the new one. I'm going to call this formulas. I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to go rename formulas. You can even change the tab color, and you can just do a quick green. There we go. And I can go tab colors there. I can go a bit of an orange. Sample formulas, there we go. Okay, so this now is the power of Excel, because this now creates outputs based on inputs. So I'm going to randomly populate this with numbers. I'm going to go 1, I'm going to give these line items 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, that was a little bit laborious, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I wanted to go 1 all the way down to 500, I don't want to be typing that in each time. So I can go 1. So firstly, I'm gonna just undo everything before the 1. 1. Great start. In this block, I'm going to go equals this block, B3, have a look there, plus 1. And I'm going to go enter. 2. So block 4B, B4 says that the value in block B3 plus 1 must be calculated and displayed here. And of course 2 comes up. So I've put that in manually, but now if I want to put this formula into subsequent blocks, I highlight the block that we have just calculated. I Control C and I Control V. And of course I get 3 because it's put the same formula there in B3 as in B4. It's taken the block above plus 1. What's the answer? The block above plus 1. What's the answer? all the way down from B3. Now, if I Control C on block B5, so I'm copying that. I'm not copying the value, I'm copying the formula. And I drag this, I now drag block B6 all the way down. I can drag it for miles. We're at 822. And if I push enter, it populates that entire highlighted section with that formula. That formula is taking the value of the block above, adding 1, reflecting the answer. So there we have it. There we have it. We have got from B3, we have got numbered each successive block. Now this is important. If I copy and paste from any of these, it is going to not take the value. It is going to take the formula by default. So if I now want to create a column of numbers, but with just the numbers, not the formulas, I have to copy and paste values. So I'll give you an example. I'm going to highlight the first 10. I'm going to go copy. I'm going to right click copy, and I'm going to paste here. Now we've got paste options. We've got paste value, paste formula, paste value. Well, I'm going to paste the values. So what have we got now? That is a 1. That is a 2. That is a 3. But across, that is a formula. We have pasted the result of the formula. We haven't pasted the formula itself. And there's a big difference there. So having done that now, I'm going to carry on. I want 15 lines. So I'm now going to do the same thing again. I'm going to copy these 5. I'm going to go copy. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to paste values. And I've now numerically got 1 to 15 value only. Now, do I need a column with 820 numbers in it? No, I don't. So I highlight this column, I right click on the top, and I just go delete. That's gone. And there is my nice numbered 1 to 15. Now, in real life, if you had 15 numbers that you wanted to write, you'd probably just type them. But you can see that that would be a little laborious if you had heaps and heaps of numbers to do. So I want to neaten this up. I'm going to double click at the top. There we go. So I've got a nice 1 to 15. So let's do an example with marking up an item that we have for sale. Now, if the item costs $100 and you mark it up by 1%, your selling price is $101. So that's fairly easy. $100 plus 15%, that's $115. But it gets a little bit more complicated when your cost is $250. So I want to take $250 and I want to mark it up by a variety of percentages. I want to try 15 different markups. So there's my $250 and I'm going to copy it. And I want it in all of these blocks. I'm going to drag down, and what am I going to do? I'm going to just push enter. There we go. There's our $250 in each line. It's $250. I'm going to, across the top, I'm going to bold and underline this, and I'm going to just put the $sign. Let's put that in. Let's make everything in the center. Right. In fact, I'm going to put $cost as my heading. $cost. Then how many of these items, how many are we, because we want to know how much money we're going to make when we sell our $250 item at a 5% markup, 10% markup. So I'm going to put quantity. And I'm going to say, we're going to do 3 different situations. We're going to say 1 of each, 2 of each, 3 of each, and then we're going to try a few markups with bundles of quantity. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and I'm going to go 2, and I'm going to go 3. I think I've got 5 of each there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Okay, so cost, quantity. What do we want now? Let's say we want to know how much money we are going to make. That is the objective. So here I'm going to call this column value. And our first formula is going to go into our value column. Our formula begins with an equal sign. That tells Excel that we are going to do a computation in that cell, in that field. We're going to go that the value of E3 must equal 250. So we're going to click there. And then we're going to use the standard universal sign for multiplication, which is the little star, the asterisk, and we're going to go quantity. So my keystroke was highlighting C3, putting in the asterisk, highlighting D3. So I've got equals C3 times D3, and I go enter. Of course, 250 times 1 is 250. But now we've got a formula within that cell. So now I'm going to highlight it as I have. I'm going to go Control C. I'm going to drag from E4 all the way down to E17. I'm going to click enter, and I've now populated this column with those values, with those formulas, should I say. Now, I would quite like to reformat this column and this column with numerical formatting with 2 decimal places. So what I can do is, and here's an excellent keystroke that you may or may not know. Control and Shift. If you press Shift and you drag, Shift will then populate between 2 points. Control allows you to selectively choose. So I'm going to show you. If I go Control and I click there and I click there and I click there and I click there and I click there, Shift allows me to individually activate each of these fields. If I go there, if I click there and then I go Shift there, look what happens. It takes the 2 furthest extents and highlights everything in a block. If I go Shift there, if I go Shift there, but if I go Control there, 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 I'm now selecting various blocks. Now what I can do, I could highlight those blocks. I could do a variety of things because those are all active. So I'm going to undo this. I'm going to forward, there we go. So what I was saying is I now want to highlight this, and with Shift, with Control, I can do the same thing there. I've now got those fields highlighted. Now, if I right click, whatever I do applies to both of those highlighted fields. So now I'm going to go Format Cells, Number. I want 2 decimal places, and I'll use 1000 separator. There we go. I've now got dollars and cents, quantity, Let me put this in the center. And I'm really happy with that now. So let's give this a heading, markup. And we're going to put in 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%. We're going to copy and paste that block below, Control C, Control V, Control V. And there we go. We've got a whole bunch of permutations. The same item, one of, different markups, the same item, two of, different markups, etc. So now, let's have a look at what our revenue is per line. So we're going to call this revenue. And how do we work that out? How do we work out per line with that markup where that takes us? So we are going to start with our usual equals. We are going to take, we've already calculated the value of the cost. We know that it's $250, one item at $250. So we're going to take this field, E3. We are then going to multiply it. And what are we multiplying it by? We want to multiply it by the markup plus 100, because 100 constitutes the full value. That is 100% of the cost. So we're going to have to use brackets for that. Brackets prioritizes a priority computation. So we're going to take 100. We are going to add 100 to the markup. That gives us our 110. We're going to close brackets. So we take the cost, we multiply it by 110. What do we get? 27,500. That's obviously not correct. We've got to adjust it because we know 10% is 25. 25 plus 250 is 275. So what we're going to now do is we are going to divide by 100. There's our 275. We know that works. We know that works. We can do a test. If we take our 250 multiplied by 1 and then 1.1 times, there is our 275. We know that to be correct. Okay, so now we go back here. We're happy with that. What do? We've got a formula, quite an intricate formula. Cost multiplied by 100 plus the markup divided by 100. We're going to copy that. We are going to paste it all the way down. Look at that. We've now got a variety of scenarios with various quantities, various markups, various revenue figures derived. Now at this point, what have we got? We just got a whole bunch of black formulas. We've just got a whole bunch of black. What I do at this point is I change everything that I would be putting into blue. So I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to go to colors and I'm going to give that a nice shade of dark blue. I'm going to bold it. I know as I work that these are the fields that I put information into, and these are now calculated fields. I'm going to highlight that as well because that's of course the markups that we were talking about. So we've got cost, quantity, value, then we've got a markup, we've got revenue. What is our profit? I'm going to put that at the top. Profit. Profit is going to be equal to revenue minus cost. And we know there's our $25 that we made on one item. It cost $250. We put 10% on. What are we going to do? We're going to right click, copy, and enter. We now know how much we're making per line item. Very, very interesting. we've now got a live working sheet, something that we can actually make use of. It's now got value to us. Now, margin and markup, that will be covered in the next lesson, because we're going to then add a margin column to our worksheet. And that's all for now.